In this tutorial, we're going to be turning our 3D representation of our projector box light, and we're going to make that into a cutting sheet on 2D TechSoft so that we can cut that out, send it to the laser printer and get that cutting. So I'm going to show you how to do one part, and then I'll show you kind of the next step. Okay, so if we have a think about how many parts we actually need, the two sides are the same, so I only need one of those, so I can just copy and paste it. The front's the same as the back, so again I need one of those. The base and the top are different, as is my display part. Okay, so I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces there. Okay, so let's have a go at doing this. So I'll show you how to do it. So for each part, I need to go right click, and I want to make that as a DXF. Let's have a look, where is it? So to turn each of these parts into a DXF file, okay, we're going to need to open the individual parts one at a time. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that for one part, and then I'll show you the end result. So if I click on this first part, just left click, and the top left gives me the option to go open part. Okay, so that's going to just isolate that single part. The first thing I need to do is make sure that's flat. So if I go to the view orientation, and depending on which way around it is, I want it to be flat. Okay, so it's now flat, so I can see what the shape is. Right click, about halfway down it says export to DXF. Okay, I'm going to click on there, and we're going to save, let's go save as copy and continue. Okay, so it's asked me what I want to save this as, so I'm just going to leave it as. It's going to be a DXF file. Now I need to go into the options and just check, especially the first time, and especially if I've got any curved surfaces. If I go to options, I want to check that's on polylines. So under here, under the spline export options, make sure it's on polylines. If it's not there, if you do any curved surfaces, it'll kind of it won't understand what's going on. All right, that's okay. So I'm going to say okay and save. Alright, now you may think that's saved, it's not. And now I've got a couple of other steps. I need to go over to the left here and change that from faces, loops and edges to annotation view, and then the green tick. Okay, that will now bring up a black and white version, which I'm just going to check looks okay. That looks fine. And then finally I'm going to go save. Okay, so that has now saved that individual file, that part. Okay, I can now open up 2D TechSoft and go File and Import. Okay, so because I'm importing, it's a different kind of file type to what it's used to. I'm going to import the file. From here, if I just go to the drop down box, I should be able to see at the very, very top. Okay, that's the one I've just been working on. Which was the projector box display.dxf. I'm going to say open. Be careful here, I need to make sure that I say that change the units to millimeters and say OK. It will always give me a warning on the import, just go continue, and that's brought that part in. I'm just going to move that right to the top corner there. Okay, so that's my first part for the display brought in. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat that process. So I'll go back to SolidWorks. Okay, and I will click on another part, open that, and then do the same process again. If need be on the video, pause it now, rewind, and watch that bit through again. Okay, but I need to do the front or the back. I need to do one of the sides. I need to do the base and the top. So I'm just going to pause it now until I've finished doing all those parts. Okay, so I've now brought in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces for the box, the base, and I've got my display bit here. Okay, now to start with, I wanted to make sure that all these lines are red, because at the moment the black is what we use for an engrave, so that doesn't cut all the way through. So I'm just going to highlight all those parts, go where it says line color, and just select red. Okay, it says dark red here, second one in, and say OK. These will now cut around all the bits. Okay, so obviously I want these bits here to be in MDF and that one to be in acrylic, so actually I might want to move that across the way. So I'm just going to select that, okay, and move that over there. Okay, and move these right into the corner. So when I'm emailing this, I can do it as kind of 2 separate emails, or I can put one in, set it running, and then sort of send it running again. Okay, so these are going to be the AMDF parts. Okay, so that'll all be fine, and I can just email that now. So I've saved this file. So I'm going to File, Save As, into my folder, and I'm going to call this projector box cutting sheet. Okay, and that's if you upload that, that's for a badge. I think for the higher quality badges, if you move these bits that bit closer, you can almost get that bit to kind of fit into there, and you can really push that bit up there to save all the material, because obviously anything around here will just go in the bin. So the quicker we can get that up there, the better. Okay, so just email that to the printer, to the laser cutter, all one word, laser with an S, and then I can cut those out on MDF. That's fine. Okay, where it gets a little bit more interesting is what I can do on this bit here. So I'm just going to zoom in and we can have a quick look at what kind of things we can do with this shape here. Alright, so for example, if I want to do some writing on there, if I go to the text tool here, okay, I can just click there and I can write, so if I'm just going to say design engineering. Okay, so I'm just going to write that word in there and say OK. Alright, now obviously that comes out as huge, so I can click on that writing and I can shrink it down that way until it actually fits, and I can move it onto there. Okay, what might be nicer is to actually go in and change the size of the writing rather than kind of stretching it and sort of changing how the font looks. Okay, so to do that, go to the bottom right to where it says property, and I can go into settings and I can change the actual height of the writing. So I might want to say, well, let's start off at let's go down to 10 mil and see how that looks. So I'm just going to say OK and OK again. Alright, so that 10 mil fits in quite nicely for the writing there. Okay, so I want to put any writing, it's just the text tool, put your writing in, and then use the property down here to adjust the size, and you can change the font and all sorts of things into how you want to look. Okay, another example of something you might want to do is you might want to put an image on there. Now, the simpler the image, the clearer, kind of more black and white it will be, the more easy it will be to show up. Okay, so let's have a quick look and see if I can find an image that's suitable. So I'm just going to pause it for a second and see what I can find. Okay, to search for a suitable image, I'm just going to type in, I'm just going to say electronics as an idea. Okay, see what I can find. So I'll type in electronics, and I'm going to go to images, and I'm going to click on the top here because I want it to be a clip art. Hopefully that should make it a little bit easier, a bit more simple. So if I say clip art, and that's going to give me hopefully some fairly straightforward looking kind of images that might be quite nice for me to do. Let's have a quick look and see if there's anything that I think, oh, that's quite a nice one there. Kind of looks like sort of thing that would make on a PCB. Okay, so this is the image I want to use. So I'm going to come there. Okay, and I'm going to just try and see if this works. Go right click, copy image into 2D design, and I'm going to go right click, paste. Okay, and see if that works. Now obviously that has not worked, it doesn't like that, so I'm just going to go Control Z and undo that. Okay, let's go back to the image and see what else we can do. Let's go to the better version. If we click View Image, that should take us to a separate version. Okay, so here's a separate version, very kind of high quality. I'm going to right click, Save As, and I'm just going to call that electronics. I think that was my theme on there. Okay, so just save that image. So now I can go to 2D TextSoft and go File, and again going to go Import, and this time so back to, let's see if my drop down box, let's see if it's saved it in there. No, it's not, so I need to go to Libraries and Pictures. I think we called it electronics. Let's see if we can find that. Just changing to all file types, so hopefully that should find it. Okay, so I found the file, so here it is, electronics.svg, and I'm going to say open, and it's not like that. Okay, so I'm now going to try a third way of doing this. I'm going to use the Snipping Tool. So I'll just go to the Start button down here and type Snipping Tool. Okay, start a new one, and I'm just going to draw that around that picture. Okay, so I'm going to draw it around like that. That should be okay. Now that's copied it into the computer memory, so I should be able to now go back to 2D design, and I should be able to go right click, paste here, and there eventually I've got the picture in. Okay, so sometimes it can be a little bit of a struggle, but if you just keep going you can usually get that, and the snipping tool is the kind of last option. You can always get it to work. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the corners, I'm going to shrink that down a little bit and move it into place, just by grabbing the middle, and just keep shrinking that down. Be a little bit more. That's going to fit nicely in there. Okay, now to get the computer to understand that I want to cut around there, okay, I'm going to go up to here to bitmaps, because images can be in two formats. There's bitmaps and there's vectors, and we want to vectorize this. That means that it's a set of instructions that the computer can be able to actually draw around. So I'm going to go bitmaps, vector, and I'll just click on the picture. Okay, and it will come up with all these sorts of options of different colours and things like that. So it's actually saying there are 3 colours in there. So I'm just going to try and get rid of the grey and see if it makes any difference. That's made no difference at all. Okay, it still looks okay. So I'm just going to say OK and OK again. Alright, so that now is in a format that the computer will be able to actually etch through that and actually write there, sort of burn into the writing into that plastic there. Okay, so I'd send it as 2 separate things. One would be this part to go to the MDF, and then I'd send this again here, and this would be done in acrylic in whatever colour I want. Okay.